Let's switch over to London, joined by the founder of BnkToTheFuture.com, Mr. Simon Dixon. Thanks so much for being with us. Well, pretty grim news coming out of Europe. What exactly is going on? Now, we have heard many optimistic reports from various countries, but the bottom line now, we're looking at these dismal numbers and dealing with unemployment rate. Tell us, what will it take to turn things around in Europe?
Well, I'm not quite sure why there should be surprises because we haven't actually done anything to solve the problem that we're in right now. We're just solving the problem with the cause of the problem, and that is that we have an entire nation in Europe of all perfectly capable people willing to work, but just because of economics and because of our financial system, we're in an environment where there's not actually enough money and there's too much debt. What we need to do is we need to make sure that some of that debt actually goes to the job creating sector, and the job creating sector is the small to medium sized businesses across Europe who can all create 1 or 2 or 3 jobs. But the problem is that we have a financial system that would much rather use the money, use any of the bank created money to redistribute towards property, towards asset inflation, and towards financial speculation. So the only way we're going to get anywhere is if we take some of that debt and we take some of that money and make sure that it gets to the sector that can create jobs.
Okay, well, it sounds actually very simple the way you have just described it. So let's talk about why none of this is being done at this point. Because obviously, sooner or later, the financial sector, those who many say have profited much behind this whole crisis. But in the long run, if these various countries fail to pick up, it is going to have a devastating effect, not only on the national economies, but throughout Europe. So why wouldn't they then encourage, as far as giving loans to small business owners? What exactly is the problem here?
Well, the problem is it's not really the government's job to give loans to small to medium-sized businesses. In the UK, they're actually stepping into that sector where the banks are failing right now. The fundamental problem is that we all in Europe, across Europe, we've built systems which are deeply dependent upon the banking system to first create money and secondly to redistribute money. The challenge is when 97% of all money that's created by a private bank is they always favor the sectors which are either the most profitable or the least risky. So property is less risky. The financial speculation is more profitable. The end of the line is always the limited liability business. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we're looking at things outside of the banking system and removing our dependence upon the banking system for the creation of the money, the lifeblood of the economy.
And how likely is that to happen? How likely is that to happen, Mr. Dixon? How likely is that to happen?
Well, it has to happen, but it's a question of time when. At the moment, we're very intent on kicking the can down the road a little bit further, propping up the unstable and focusing on symptoms rather than the cause of the problem.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us right here, Press TV out of London, founder of BnkToTheFuture.com, Mr. Simon Dixon.